December. Dolly's Music Box. The end of the year was here and winter had arrived. The friends all gathered on the hillside and were enjoying the chilly afternoon. When they got hungry, Iris invited everyone to her house for lunch. "That was delicious! Thank you!" they told her when they had finished eating, and they all helped to clear the table. Dolly spotted an odd little box on the shelf that had a ballerina on the top. "What's that?" "It's a music box. Turn the key on the side and you'll see." "It's so beautiful," Dolly dreamed. "Where is it from?" "I bought it at an advent fair on the other side of the hill." "Is it far?" "It's very far. I went on the train," Iris told her. "That's a pity." Time passed and the little beetles all set off home. Berry did not go home, but he went to find the magpie. "Dear magpie, would you please fly to the market and bring a music box back for Dolly?" "Of course, I'll go tomorrow, and if all goes well, I'll be back in no time," he agreed. Christmas was coming, and Berry and Dolly agreed to spend the day together. The ladybird girl had sewn a cushion for Berry. Berry waited for the magpie, but he never reappeared. One day before Christmas, Flutter went to see Berry. "Why are you so upset?" asked the butterfly girl. "I wanted to give Dolly a music box, but the magpie still hasn't brought it. What shall I do? Have you got any ideas?" "We could be a music box. I'll stand on the box and I'll be the ballerina, and we'll ask Bubble to hide inside. Bubble will play music, and I'll turn around on the top like the dancer on Iris's box." "That's a fantastic idea! I'll call Bubble right away," Berry gasped. By the time Berry and Bubble arrived back, the butterfly girl had finished painting the sides of the box. "Come on, Bubble, hide inside," Flutter told him. Bubble started to play a tune on his flute. "Oh, that's perfect," Berry said in astonishment. Christmas Eve at last arrived. The ladybird girl had wrapped the cushion that she had made as a present. There was a sudden knock at the door. Berry was standing there and he asked Dolly to close her eyes. "You can come now, Dolly," Berry shouted, and the ladybird girl stepped into the room. "Oh, a music box," she said in surprise. "It's wonderful," she said and smiled as she hugged Berry. Then she hugged Flutter and took a peek under the box. "Come and spend Christmas with me," said the ladybird girl. They had just sat down when there was a knock on the window. "I'm sorry I'm late, Berry, but I got caught in a snowstorm," Magpie stuttered and handed the music box to Berry. Then Berry handed it to Dolly. The magpie decided to stay for a while, and they all spent Christmas together.
Dr. Owl gets sick. The first snow had begun to fall. Berry and Dolly sat mesmerised as they watched the white snowflakes cover all they could see. The next day, the side of the hill was blanketed in a thick layer of snow. The ladybird girl fetched her sledge, and there was enough space on it for 3. Bubble at the front, Berry in the middle, and Dolly at the back.
The whole forest is white,
the spider cheered. The lake soon froze over in the chilly temperatures. The little friends had lots of fun skating on the ice. Bubble, don't chew the icicles, Dolly shouted to the baby beetle, but Bubble's mind was elsewhere. Come, let's build a snowman, the snail boy said, but Bubble was not in a good mood. I've got a sore throat, Berry. We'll build a snowman another time, okay? Berry called Dr. Owl to come and take a look at Bubble.
Open wide,
the old owl instructed his patients.
Oh, it's very red. You've got a very sore throat and you need to rest in bed for a couple of days.
The little friends visited Bubble every day. Dolly even made him special tea. Flutter read Bubble stories. She put the book down when the baby beetle drifted off to sleep and carried on from the same place when he woke up again. A couple of days passed and Bubble was feeling much better. We can build that snowman now, Bubble said to Berry with a smile. Berry and Dolly decided to invite their friends for lunch. The guests all arrived at noon. It's really delicious, Balthazar enthused. Why isn't Dr. Owl here? I don't know, Dolly replied. Perhaps he forgot. I know why Dr. Owl didn't come today. He's not well. He caught a chill. I met his chicks and they told me. That can't be right, Bubble blustered. Doctors never get sick. Why can't doctors get sick? A mechanic's car breaks down now and again. And a cobbler gets holes in his shoes, Flutter explained to Bubble. Let's pay him a visit and we can make him a present because it's very nearly Christmas, Berry suggested. The 4 boys sat together and made a candle holder for Dr. Owl. They glued pieces of wood together, painted winter pictures on them, and added candles on top.
It looks lovely,
Stanley said, sounding satisfied. The girls made a colourful wreath out of paper.
Dr. Owl can hang it on his front door,
Leapy smiled. The next day they went to see Dr. Owl. The old owl was weak and lying in bed, but he was delighted to see his visitors.
Oh, they are beautiful,
he said with a warm smile when he unwrapped his presents. By the time Christmas Day came around, Dr. Owl was feeling much better. Mama Owl put biscuits and cordial on the table, and the owl chicks got out their favourite cards. They chatted and played together for a long time. On their way home, they saw that Dr. Owl had placed the wreath on his front door, and the candles were burning brightly in his window. 4 seasons. One day at the end of the winter, 3 bark beetles knocked angrily on Leapy's door. We wanted to dress up as princes for the party, but the 3 fleas are going to be princes. And that's not good. Our crowns and capes are all ready, but we can't wear them. Oh, please help us. Have you got any ideas what we could wear? They all shouted at once.
Maybe you could be 3 snowballs because everything is covered in snow outside. It would be easy to make the costumes.
Oh, no. That's no good, Leapy. We'd melt the minute we walked into Balthazar's house. We'd turn into a puddle on the floor in no time at all.
Then you could go as cutlery, a knife, a fork and a spoon. You'd only need silver foil.
That's a super idea, Leapy. But we haven't got any silver foil. And we haven't got enough time before tomorrow to get some. We need to think up something simpler.
What do you say to a camel? That's perfect for the three of you. A head and two humps.
Yes, but the ants went as a camel last year, so it's been done. We need to think of something new. And what are you going as, Leapy? The bark beetles asked.
I don't know. I still haven't decided.
The grasshopper girl hesitated. Then the four of us could go together, the boys suggested.
OK, but what could we go as? 4 flowers? Or 4 devils?
Maybe 4 stars or 4 planets, the bark beetles listed.
That's not good enough. We need to go with something that there are only 4 of. Only 4, no more, no less. I know the perfect thing. The 4 seasons.
Yes, that's perfect, the bark beetle said and jumped up and down. There are 4 seasons. Leapy can be spring because that's girly. And we can dress up as summer, autumn and winter. They all got hard to work. Leapy sewed herself a pink dress and decorated it with white flowers. She put a pink flower crown on her head. She looked so pretty that the bark beetles all blushed when they saw her. The 3 boys' costumes were soon finished. Summer wore green with a sun on his tummy and a leaf on his hat. Autumn wore all yellow, covered in colourful leaves. Winter's costume was blue, with lots and lots of snowflakes. The next day, they all set off to Balthazar's house for the fancy dress party. The bumblebee was dressed as a fireman. He warmly welcomed Leapy and the bark beetles. The 4 seasons have arrived. Eddy was dressed as a carrot, Bubble as a rocket, Betty as a drop of water, Rosita as a bird, Zephyr as a bus ticket, Morris as a sugar cube, Flutter as a banana, Dolly as a sweetie, and Charlie as a dog. The forest friends voted for the best costume. And of course, the 4 seasons won. Stanley came second with his rainbow costume. Third place went to the snails, to Berry and Sam, who came dressed as a train. Everybody was very happy, and the 3 fleas came to congratulate the winners. Stanley Skates. It was a crispy winter day and Berry and Dolly were walking by the lake. It had frozen over and was covered by a very thick layer of ice. Come on, Dolly, let's slide on the ice, the little snail suggested. The ladybird happily agreed. Berry and Dolly stepped cautiously onto the ice. They held on tightly to each other and began to slide slowly around. They were really having a wonderful time. They soon warmed up. They fell over every now and then, but when they did, they just laughed and carried on playing. Stanley the stag beetle stood and watched them. Stanley, you have to try this. Come and slide with us, it's so much fun, Berry said to his friend. Stanley was slightly scared but stepped onto the ice out of curiosity. Ah! He yelled as his feet slipped out from under him and he fell on his bottom. Berry and Dolly ran over to him. We'll give you a hand, Stanley. The two friends stood either side of Stanley and guided him slowly forward. "Now we'll let go of you, and you can try by yourself," Dolly told him. Then the snail and the ladybird let Stanley go. "Slow down, Stanley!" Dolly shouted, and Stanley tried to stop, but he stumbled and sped into a patch of prickly bushes. "Help! I'm full of prickles and my antler hurts. It hurts a lot." Dolly ran over quickly to take a look at the injured stag beetle. "Don't give up," Dolly said, and bandaged Stanley's painful antler with her dotty scarf. Just then, a beautiful girl beetle slid out onto the ice. She moved over the frozen surface of the water as gracefully as can be. "Wow, who are you?" Dolly asked. "I'm Iris the ice beetle." "Hi, Iris. She's Dolly the ladybird, he's Stanley the stag beetle, and I'm Berry the snail," Berry said in his politest voice. "How do you manage to glide on the ice like that?" Stanley asked the stranger. "Because I'm wearing ice skates, special shoes that can slide on the ice," Iris replied. "You have to buckle them to your boots." "Did you make them yourself?" Berry asked curiously. "Yes, I made them. It's really not that difficult. I can make ice skates for all of you if you like." "Hooray!" the three friends shouted excitedly. Berry, Dolly, Stanley and Iris went to the forest together. Iris sorted through the branches lying on the ground and eventually found one good for the job. They all got to work, sawing and hammering in tiny nails. Everybody did their share. "They're finished," Iris eventually announced. And there were 3 pairs of brand new ice skates sitting on the table. Berry and Dolly felt a little bit nervous as they fastened their new ice skates on, but Stanley was the most worried. Berry and Dolly held onto each other and stepped out onto the ice. Iris helped Stanley. "Sliding on the ice is so much better with ice skates," Stanley laughed. Iris held Stanley's hand for a long time before he was happy to slide all on his own. He soon learned how to turn and start and stop. "I can do it! I can ice skate!" he announced at the end of a very long but happy day. Flutter goes skiing. On a winter day, Iris the ice beetle invited all her friends to go skiing. "Has everyone got skis?" she asked. "I haven't," said Berry. "And I haven't," Leapy the grasshopper girl joined in. "Neither have I," Flutter the butterfly added. "Then let's make some skis for you. It isn't hard," Iris said with a smile. The friends all joined in. They sawed and sanded thin planks of wood, fixed foot straps to them, and made poles for everyone, and the skis were finished by lunchtime. They all walked up the hill together. When they got to the top, they strapped on their skis and put on their ski helmets. Then Iris asked, "Does everyone know how to ski? I can teach anyone who doesn't." They all nodded except for Flutter. The little butterfly girl didn't know how to ski, but she didn't say anything. "It can't be all that hard. I'll soon get the hang of it," she thought to herself. She only dared whisper the truth to the green grub. Berry was the first to go. "Whoopee!" he shouted with a broad grin as he sped down the snowy hillside. Dolly came after Berry, and then Balthazar, and then the others. Flutter was the last one to set off. She took a deep breath and pushed herself off. The only problem was she didn't know how to stop. She carried on skiing over the next hill and then the hill after that until she had skied a very long way away from the others. The little butterfly girl only stopped when she fell over into a big pile of snow. It was a while before the others realised that Flutter was missing.
Flutter doesn't know how to ski,
the green grub eventually told them. She can't ski, they all asked in surprise.
This was her first time. She was very nervous, but she didn't dare to mention it. Oh, I'm frightened that something terrible has happened to her.
The friends set off to search for Flutter. Dr. Owl was flying past and he spotted Flutter in the snow below. Flutter, what happened to you? He asked. I couldn't stop and I fell over in the snow. I really hurt myself. I thought I'd never be able to stop. I don't want to ski again, Flutter sobbed. Dr. Owl felt very sorry for the little butterfly girl, so he put her on his back and took her to his house. I'll bandage you up and then I'll take you to Iris's house. I'm sure the others will be looking for you, Dr. Owl said in a reassuring voice. The little friends frantically searched around, but they couldn't find Flutter anywhere. They walked sadly back to Iris's house. But Flutter was waiting for them when they arrived. They were overjoyed. Hooray! Are you all right, Flutter? Tell us what happened to you, Dolly told her. Flutter told them the whole story from beginning to end. So you don't know how to ski? Iris asked in surprise. I'll teach you. You'll soon learn how to turn and stop, and you'll be able to ski down even the steepest hills. Thank you, the butterfly girl said with a smile. Iris started to teach Flutter to ski the very next morning. By the end of the first day, the little butterfly girl could ski down small hills and stop safely at the bottom. Look! Flutter can ski! This calls for a celebration, Stanley shouted, and he started to play a tune on the icicles. The others sang and danced around the happy little butterfly. Christmas. It was a crisp winter day and Berry the snail and Dolly the ladybird went into the woods to look for a bunch of Christmas greenery. Look, Berry, this little tree got knocked over in the storm. Let's take it home. We can decorate it for Christmas. Hooray! We'll have a real Christmas tree, Berry shouted. They lifted the tree up and saw a centipede sheltering under its branches. Help me, Berry. Let's put him on the sledge. He's hurt himself and looks very cold. We can take him to my house. They lifted the centipede carefully onto the sledge. Will he be all right? Berry worried. Of course he will, Dolly reassured her friend. When they got home, they put the poorly centipede to bed. Dolly made him hot tea and Berry read him caterpillar stories from a storybook. Next morning, the centipede opened his eyes and smiled a little smile. He got better every day and soon he was healthy again. Dolly asked him to stay. You're so nice. Don't go, centipede. Spend Christmas with us. Well, thank you. I'd love to stay. But what should we get him for Christmas? Dolly wondered. What would make a centipede happy? Dolly told him her idea. The little snail nodded excitedly. Berry and Dolly went to see the ants. The queen ant welcomed them with open arms. Dolly told them what kind of present she'd thought of. We can make anything you want, said the queen. Christmas came and Berry and Dolly made a tree stand. As night fell, Berry gave Dolly her present. Merry Christmas, Dolly. Thank you, Berry, the ladybird said. She was delighted. It's beautiful. Dolly was very happy and wound the pretty ribbon around the tree. Merry Christmas to you too, Dolly said, and handed Berry his present. Sparklers, super! Let's put them on the tree. They lit the sparklers and crackling sparks danced around the Christmas tree. The glittering light attracted lots of tiny fireflies, and each brought a Christmas decoration. Even the centipede helped to trim the tree. Soon the ants arrived carrying a parcel. They handed it to Berry and Dolly. "This is our present to you, centipede," Berry said to him. "Merry Christmas." "Boots!" he shouted happily. "They'll keep your little feet warm when you're walking in the snow," Dolly explained. The friends' celebrations went on late into the night. There was Eddy the potato beetle, Stanley the stag beetle, Alfonso the cricket, and Rosita the rose beetle. The fireflies built a big snowman with the little ants. They all sang and danced around the Christmas tree. Flutter the butterfly came to celebrate with them. Zephyr the dragonfly danced with Leapy the grasshopper. Berry and Dolly skipped around with Balthazar the bee. When the party was over, the centipede cleaned his boots and put them on a shelf. "What a wonderful day I've had. It's a shame that Christmas only comes once a year." Starship. It was Christmas Day and Berry, Dolly, Balthazar, Flutter, Stanley and Bubble were walking home after playing snowballs. "Let's all go to my house and we can decorate the little Christmas tree in my garden." "What a lovely idea!" the others all cheered. In the meantime, Flutter had an idea and she whispered it into Dolly's ear. "That's not fair. Don't keep secrets."
Yes, tell us too. It's mean to keep secrets.
"Oh, it's not that sort of secret. In fact, it's not a secret at all." "Then tell us what it is." "We can't tell you because it's going to be a surprise. I've got to go now because of the surprise, but I'll be back soon." Dolly put a plate of fresh fruit bread on the table, and the little friends all tucked into a feast.
It's really delicious,
said Berry with a smile. Dolly then produced coloured paper, scissors, glue and ribbons and put them on the table. Everyone got quickly to work. They cut star, moon, heart and flower shapes out of the paper and threaded them onto a long ribbon. Flutter returned just as it was getting dark.
"Now tell us what the secret is,"
Balthazar said. "No, I still can't tell you," the butterfly girl said secretively. "I'm going to go home in that case." "All right, we'll decorate the little Christmas tree outside and then I'll tell you everything, okay?" "Okay," the boys all agreed. They took the ribbon outside and carefully wound it around the little Christmas tree.
"It looks lovely,"
Bubble whispered sweetly. They all gathered around the tree and began to sing.
"Little Christmas, lovely Christmas, little Christmas, lovely Christmas."
Look! What's that light high up in the sky?
Maybe it's a comet, said Bubble. But they didn't have to guess any longer because the light began to descend and they could see it was a star house. And there, waving to them from the window, was their old friend, the Star Girl. So that was the secret, Stanley cheered. But how did you manage to invite her here?
I flew up to the moon and asked it to look for the Star Girl,
Flutter told him. Just then the Star Girl opened up a bag and twinkling stars flew out. First the stars danced around the Christmas tree. Then they flew high up into the night sky before coming back down to the ground and clustering together to make a starship with a long staircase at the front. The friends carefully climbed up into the starship. The Star Girl began to strum on her harp, and the starship flew up and around the whole forest. They all had a super view of all the houses down on the ground, and they even saw Harry Hedgehog's house, with him inside sleeping his way through the chilly winter.
It's so beautiful,
Balthazar said dreamily. They eventually landed back outside Dolly's house. The Star Girl bowed politely and waved to show that she had to be off on her way. Dolly suddenly had a super idea. She flew up to the top of the Christmas tree, took the pretty ribbon off and placed it on top of the star house. The harp music made the star house slowly lift off the ground.
That really was a super surprise, Flutter,
Bubble said. We'll never forget this Christmas night, Stanley announced to all.
February. Fancy dress at Stanley's. February had arrived and it was nearly time for carnival. The little forest friends were discussing what costumes they would have. It's a shame that the fancy dress ball can only have one winner, Bubble announced unexpectedly. Last year, Sophia won with her sunshine costume and it was very pretty. But I also like Stanley's dice costume and Eddy's chef's outfit. I agree, Dolly added. What if we change the competition this year? And we dress up in groups. The girls could be angels and the boys devils. Or we could be fruit and vegetables, the ladybird girl explained. What a splendid idea! And so they agreed that the boys would be fruit and the girls would be vegetables. Then they decided who would be what. The boys: Stanley, pear; Eddy, peach; Balthazar, grape; Berry, apple; Bubble, strawberry; Morris, fig; the woodworm, cherry; Charlie, pineapple; Frank, lemon; the firebug, apricot; Alfonso, banana; Dr. Owl, melon; the fireflies, blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, blackcurrant and plum. The girls: Dolly, carrot; Flutter, potato; Leapy, onion; Sophia, squash; Rosita, cabbage; Iris, broccoli; Betty, aubergine; the Ant Queen, pumpkin; Odette, cucumber; the Star Girl, lettuce; the fireflies, beetroot, radish, pepper, tomato and kohlrabi. A week passed and the day of the ball arrived. The little beetles arrived in their new costumes at Stanley's house. Dr. Owl's watermelon costume was a great success, but they all loved each other's costumes. Then Snail, Sam and Katie arrived. Hi, we decided to come along too. But Snail Sam and Katie lived on a faraway island, and they had no way of knowing that everyone had come as a fruit or vegetable. Sam was dressed as a basketball, and Katie had come in a pencil costume. "We need to alter your costumes," Stanley stated. Alfonso immediately knew what to do. "I know! The yellow pencil can be a sweet corn, and if we take the black stripes off the basketball, it can be an orange," he suggested. "That's a super idea," the friends agreed, and they quickly transformed the new guests' costumes. Now Katie could join the vegetables with her sweet corn costume, and Snail Sam's orange outfit meant he could join the fruit. They danced until late in the evening, until Christopher the Canary arrived with a big basket of donuts. They all ate a donut and then set off home. Stanley laughed at the sight of the flying watermelon. Then Dr. Owl shouted, "Look, snowdrops!" Alfonso and Bubble rushed over and stared in wonderment at the first flowers of spring.
Gingerbread. December had arrived, and the forest was covered in a thick quilt of snow. Berry and Dolly were sitting chatting in the ladybird's dotty house. "Let's bake some gingerbread biscuits," Dolly suggested with a bright smile. Berry and Dolly got to work in the kitchen. They bustled around in a cloud of spices and flour and rolled the biscuit dough out flat on the table. Dolly got all the gingerbread cutters out of the drawer. They cut lots of different shapes out and popped the biscuits in the oven to bake. When the biscuits were cooked to a crunchy crisp, Dolly took them out of the oven and put them in a pretty bowl. Then she carefully placed the bowl outside in the snow. "These hot biscuits will soon cool down in the winter chill," she told Berry. Just then a magpie flew over the house. He could smell the delicious gingerbread biscuits, and he swooped down and carried the lot off in his big beak. When Dolly came out later, the bowl and biscuits had completely disappeared. "Oh dear, someone's taken my yummy biscuits," she shrieked. "But who could have taken the bowl?" Berry asked. Berry and Dolly decided to go and search in the forest. The first friend they ran into was Iris the ice beetle. "Oh, Iris, someone has taken my yellow bowl full of fresh gingerbread biscuits. You didn't see who it was, did you?" Dolly asked. "Yes, I did. It was the magpie. He flew off in that direction." They kept walking until they met the grub. "Hello, grub. The magpie took my yellow bowl filled with gingerbread biscuits. Did you see which way he flew?" The grub pointed. Not long after, Berry and Dolly caught sight of Bubble and Eddy, who were building a snowman. "Have you seen the magpie? He took my yellow bowl and all our gingerbread," Dolly complained. "Yes, we saw him. He flew towards the stream," the potato beetle replied. "Look, Dolly, fresh biscuit crumbs. The magpie must have flown this way," Berry suddenly shouted. "If we follow the trail, it should take us to the magpie's nest," Dolly proposed. The pair of them followed the trail of crumbs, and it took them all the way to the magpie's nest and to the sweet smell of gingerbread. Berry and Dolly climbed up the tree and knocked on the magpie's door. "Did you take my yellow bowl filled with fresh gingerbread?" Dolly asked as soon as the magpie opened the door. "Yes, it was me. I was very hungry. I saw the bowl sitting there, so I took it, but I can give it back to you." It's not nice to take what belongs to somebody else, Dolly said, and marched back to her house in a grumpy mood. Berry did his best to keep up with the little ladybird. Don't be angry, Dolly. I know that the magpie took your bowl, but he gave it back, and I'm certain that he'll apologise, the little snail said. Berry and Dolly invited their friends over that afternoon. Flutter the butterfly, Balthazar the bee, and Stanley the stag beetle all came around for tea. They all sat at the table and began to eat. It wasn't long after that they heard a soft knock on the front door. Dolly opened the door. The magpie was standing outside and looking very ashamed of himself. I brought you some rosehip cordial. I made it myself. Please take it as a gift to say how sorry I am for pinching your gingerbread, the magpie said. Why don't you come in and join us for a bite to eat, Magpie? There's plenty of room for you at our table. This made the magpie very happy. The friends sat around the table, munching on delicious gingerbread biscuits and sipping fresh rosehip cordial. They chatted and laughed late into the night. The Ant Choir. The little forest friends decided to bid farewell to the year with a concert. Tomorrow's going to be the last day of the year, Dr. Owl announced. Everyone needs to be here by nightfall and we'll make music together. I shall be the conductor. The ant choir will sing and we'll accompany them on bells, rattles and drums, said Dolly the ladybird girl. But where will we get things like that from? We should make them ourselves, Flutter suggested. Come over to my house tomorrow and bring anything that might be useful with you. Conkers, pine cones, sticks. I've got a whole box of bells. I'll bring that too, said Iris the ice beetle.
Hooray! That's a super idea,
the others cheered. They all got up very early the next morning and met at Flutter's house. They started designing their instruments. They soon had lots of drawings of their designs. They all made different things. Dolly blew an egg, put rice in it, placed it between 2 spoons and wrapped sticky tape around the whole thing. It made a super little rattle. Bubble put little pebbles in a tin can. It was much louder than Dolly's. Stanley made a funny drum out of a round box, a few wooden beads, strings and a stick. Berry filled a cardboard tube with beans. Balthazar made a conker rattle. He drilled a hole in a handful of conkers, threaded them on a piece of wire and jangled them with pride. Flutter found some metal bottle tops, tied them on strings and then tied the strings to the end of a stick. It made a great clattering sound. They all practiced enthusiastically with their instruments and the whole house was shaking from the din when Iris walked in. I've lost my bells, she sobbed sadly. Let's go and look for them, Berry suggested. They'll be by the side of the path somewhere. All we have to do is follow the sledge path. They all set out into the snowy forest. They looked for the bells all over the place and searched every little bit of hill, but the bells were nowhere to be found. That's impossible! They can't have disappeared. Now there'll be no lovely bells at the concert. Oh, yes, there will, Berry reassured her. Don't be so sad, Iris. I'll go and fetch the wind chime that Father Christmas gave me. As night fell, all the forest friends gathered on the side of the hill. The only one missing now is Dr. Owl. We can't start our concert without a conductor, the Ant Queen complained. Here he is. Dr. Owl has arrived, Stanley shouted out, and he pointed into the night sky. Look what I've brought. My little bells, did you find them? Iris asked, sounding a little surprised. Yes, I saw them twinkling down on the snowy ground and I picked them all up, the old owl said proudly. That's why we couldn't find anything on the hill, Iris chuckled, and she gave Dr. Owl a hug. The ant choir began to sing, and their song floated up into the night sky. The fireflies rang Iris's bells, the others rattled their rattles, and music filled the forest. They sang and played until dawn the next day, and they all welcomed in the new year with friendly cheer.
January. Eddy and the toy car. The new year had arrived at last. The little friends were all at Stanley's house. The stag beetle proudly showed his friends the new toy cars he'd been given for Christmas. The silver dump truck is my favourite. It's got big wheels, it goes fast. The doors open and you can tip the back up and down, he said with a smile. Let's build a track and drive all the cars around it, Eddy suggested. When the track was finished, they drove all the toy cars on it. Eddy really wanted to try the silver dumper truck, but Berry wouldn't let it go. When he eventually got bored, Leapy pounced on the super truck. Then Dolly took it after Leapy. Eddy only managed to get his hands on Stanley's dumper truck for a few minutes at the end of the day. He pushed it so hard that it rolled under the cupboard. Eddy reached under the cupboard to pull it out, but the wheel got stuck behind the cupboard leg, and it fell off. Eddy tried to push it back on, but it wouldn't turn after that. It started to get dark and the friends were getting tired. Eddy dared not tell the stag beetle that the dumper truck's wheel was broken. Instead, he put it back with all the other toy cars as if nothing had happened. They all said goodbye to Stanley and went home. Eddy soon got back to his house, but he could not get to sleep. He felt very bad about the dumper truck. He woke the next morning to the sound of shouting. Stanley was having an argument with Berry on the hill nearby. Berry, you've broken my toy car. It wasn't me. There was nothing wrong with it when I gave it to Leapy, the snail boy responded, sounding a little offended. Then I'll ask Leapy. Leapy, did you break the wheel on my dumper truck? No, of course not. It wasn't me, the grasshopper girl assured him. I gave it to Dolly. Ask her, Leapy suggested. And so the stag beetle set off to the ladybird girl's house. Eddy felt terrible because he was the one who'd broken the wheel on the dumper truck. Then he had an idea. He had an old and bashed up dumper truck a lot like Stanley's. He found it and hurried over to Flutter's house. Flutter, you've got some silver paint, haven't you? The silver's run out, but I've got some gold. Please help me, the potato beetle said, and he told Flutter the whole story. Flutter was happy to help. She painted the toy car, and it soon shined as bright as new. Thank you, Flutter, said Eddy, and he set off to give the reborn dumper truck to Stanley. When he arrived at Stanley's house, he was greeted by the sound of loud laughter. Did you manage to fix it? Yes, I bumped into Charlie at Dolly's house and I asked him to lend me a hand, Stanley said with a smile. Unfortunately, I never found out who broke the wheel. It was me, Eddy told him. I'm happy you managed to mend it, but I've brought brought you something too. Oh, that's super! Thank you, Stanley laughed. I'm not angry anymore. Do you want to join us? We're going to race with the toy cars. And the three boys set about building a track for the race.
Santa. One snowy morning, Dolly the ladybird turned to Berry the snail and said, "Hey Berry, Santa's coming tonight."
Really?
Berry wondered. That's right. He leaves presents in the boots of good children. Remember to put your boots in the window. That evening, Berry cleaned his boots and popped them in the window. He was so excited when he went to bed that he couldn't get to sleep. He stared out at the sky to see when Santa would appear with his reindeer sleigh. Dolly got up early the next morning. She ran straight to the window. Her boots were packed with presents, colouring pencils and a big red apple. Berry ran straight to his window too. He was very excited. He couldn't wait to see what Santa had brought him. But oh dear, his little boots were empty. Berry was so upset that he didn't see the huge red parcel in the other window. He looked inside his boots again and again. He shook them upside down, but there was nothing in them. He was so sad that he decided to run away. "Santa didn't bring me anything, but I've been such a good little snail," he cried. Dolly went over to Berry's house. "Hello! Look what I got from Santa!" Dolly started to worry. She knocked and knocked, but Berry didn't open the door. "Where's Berry gone? I have to find him." Stanley the stag beetle, Balthazar the bee and Flutter the butterfly went with her.
Berry?
Berry!
Berry! Berry! Berry! It was getting dark by the time the four friends found Berry. He was sitting on a tree stump and crying. Dolly ran to him. "What's wrong, Berry? What happened?"
Santa didn't bring me anything, but I've been such a good little snail.
"Don't be silly. I'm sure you got a present," Dolly reassured her friend. "Maybe it was so big, Santa couldn't fit it in your boots and he put it somewhere else."
No, I didn't get anything. I don't think Santa's real at all.
Just then, a sleigh appeared in the sky. It was being pulled by 2 reindeers.
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa waved at the children.
I hope you all liked your presents. See you again next year.
Berry was so surprised. "Let's all go to Berry's and look for his present." The little snail felt much better already. They saw the big red parcel the minute they walked into Berry's house.
Look, your present's in the other window.
There it is. It's wonderful. Berry opened the present. It was a colourful wind chime. When Berry shook it, the little bells knocked into each other and made a pretty tinkling sound. "It's beautiful." Stanley fixed the wind chime by the door and they all said good night to Berry. Berry jumped happily into bed and fell fast asleep to the tinkling of the chime. the Snowman. One cold winter morning, Berry the snail knocked on Dolly's front door.
Let's go and play with my sledge in the snow.
Dolly quickly put on her winter coat and her hat, scarf and gloves. She sat on the sledge and the little snail pulled her along. Eventually, the snow stopped. Berry and Dolly enjoyed the winter sunshine. They sledged down the steep side of the hill.
Look at that super snowman!
Berry shouted.
Oh dear, we're going to hit it!
But it was too late. The sledge ran right into the snowman that stood at the foot of the hill. "Did you hurt yourself?" Berry asked Dolly.
No, I didn't, but I think we've ruined the snowman.
"Yes, it tipped right over," Berry said. "I'm going to eat its carrot nose."
Let's have a snowball fight with the snow from the snowman.
Berry and Dolly started to throw snowballs. It was a lot of fun. Soon there was almost nothing left of the snowman. Just then, Balthazar the bee appeared and said hello to his friends.
Do you want to throw snowballs with us?
I'm too busy. I've brought a hat and a scarf to put on my snowman I built yesterday. Haven't you seen it?
Berry and Dolly looked at each other.
Oh dear,
Berry whispered.
Balthazar must be looking for the snowman we hit.
They didn't dare tell Balthazar that they'd knocked his snowman over.
No, we haven't seen a snowman.
I can't find my snowman anywhere.
Berry and Dolly felt very sorry for the little bee.
Don't be sad,
Berry said finally.
Let's build a new one.
Okay,
Balthazar sniffled. Dolly made the biggest snowball. It went on the bottom. Balthazar made the middle one for the snowman's tummy. And Berry made the smallest snowball for the snowman's head. Then Dolly lifted Berry up so he could stick the head on top. Then the snowman was finished and Balthazar could finally put the stripy scarf around its neck. Berry took a big jump and put the red saucepan on its head for a hat.
Hey, it looks really super,
Balthazar said enthusiastically.
Balthazar, we've got something to tell you. We smashed your first snowman. We slid right into it with our sledge. It was an accident.
What? It was you?
Balthazar was very surprised, but then he soon forgave his friends.
This snowman looks much better than the first one,
he declared.
Come on, let's sledge down the hill together.
Berry, Dolly and Balthazar played with the sledge until it got dark and were very careful not to hit their new snowman.